Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new endeavor on the Big Pauly's World of Sports Sibs channel as we celebrate the upcoming 250th anniversary of America, the United States of America, with a special season, a super season called the America 250 Super Season. That's what I could come up with, folks. So we have built 12 teams of all American players, no foreigners. It's President Trump's wet dream. And we are going to have a 162 game season. It'll be day by day, kind of Ron Juckett style. And we are going to play this out over the course of the next few months as the Time Travel League winds down. And we'll have a game from them later today. So let me introduce you to the 12 teams. It was going to be 10, but I thought, there are a couple of gaps here. So we divided the teams into the East and to the West. Let's just roll through these teams. No, we have not played any games. I don't know what's wrong with the leaderboard. But that is what that is. The Great Lakes Sharks are going to represent Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Detroit. And you see a pretty good lineup of batters here. You got Joe Morgan, Nap Lajoie, Archie Vaughn, Veda Pinson, Honus Wagner. So this is Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Detroit. Because you couldn't really find a place for Cincinnati, and you can't really find a place for teams like Arizona and Colorado. I handled them in a given way, and I will show you that later on. Some good pitchers. Kent Tekulve you got coming out of the bullpen. You got Bob Feller on this team, Bob Lemon. You got a whole bunch of players who will not start on the roster. I gave every team kind of a very copious farm system, so you might be seeing players come in as the season progresses. So that's the Great Lakes Sharks. I don't know why the leaderboard is the way it is. I truly don't. But I guess it is that way because we have not played any games. We now look at the Southeast team, the Southeast Studs, and they will be comprised of Atlanta, Tampa Bay, and the Florida Miami Marlins. And you see they're going to have quite a pitching staff here. Greg Maddux, David Price, James Shields, Scott Kazmir, Spencer Strider, Phil Niekro, John Smoltz, just to name a few. And not that bad batting lineup. Christian Yelich. We took the players from where they were placed by Dave Koch Sports in the encyclopedia. So they make the rulings, and I just kind of follow them. And you got a lot of good players on the bench. You got Dale Murphy, Ben Zobrist on the team. John Jaso, who was a catcher for the Rays. Claudel Washington. And I was telling you, Ben Zobrist, who could play a lot of positions. Brandon Lau, who had some good seasons with Tampa Bay. Chipper Jones, Freddie Freeman. They'll have a good team. So now let's look at the team from Gotham, the Gotham Superbas. And as you might suspect, the Gotham team is made up of New York's finest, the New York Mets, the New York Giants, the New York Yankees, and the Brooklyn Dodgers. And I think, did I mention the Mets? And you see here, they have a bumper crop of players. Every spot in the lineup is going to be a threat. Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Mickey Mantle. Mickey Mantle's going to start on the IA. Bill Terry will start on the IA. It just shows you how deep the lineup is. You got Jackie Robinson, Mel Ott, Aaron Judge, all American players. If you were born in this country, you get to play. Thurman Munson, Pee Wee Reese. Babe Ruth might also pitch. And you got a good lineup here. Amos Brucey, who was an early century player. Chuck Chesborough, Willie Mays, Whitey Ford, Carl Hubble, Christy Mathewson. You got a very good lineup of players. I would suspect that the Gotham Superbas will win it all when the season comes to an end. It's a 162 game season. We will play the old National League schedule where interdivisional teams will be played 18 times, and the teams outside of the division will be played 12. The Boston Bees are, as you might suspect, players from the Boston Braves, Boston Red Sox. Quite a pitching lineup here, too. Cy Young leading the charge. Roger Clemens is on the staff. And they will have 11 pitchers to choose from. Probably should get them a few more pitchers because it's not a very deep staff. You got Mel Parnell. I'm sure they will call up some farm hands. In fact, let me just do that right now. I really did set a hard roster limit. You can only play 25 players at a time in this league. And this is going to take a while for the draft team to populate. But we will use Boston, B-O-S. Or B, just start with a B because you have the Boston Braves that are a part of this lineup too. In fact, let me just pause for a moment. So I'm going to add a few names, a few pitching hands. Josh Beckett, Boca Sullivan, Frank Sullivan, Mike Timlin, and Ray Collins. We'll add those names to the list. See if Boston has some pitchers that the Boston Braves have any pitchers that would make the cut. We'll put Jim Turner in there. And Johnny Sane. You got to have Spawn and Sane and pray for rain, right? So that's a few more pitching hands. We will just make some cuts right in front of you here. They will play at Fenway Park. The Southeast team will play at Truist Park. The New York team will play at Yankee Stadium. And the Mid-Atlantic team will use Oriole Park at Camden Yards. So we're going to set the roster to 25. Looks like a good roster off the top of my head. We'll regenerate starters and regenerate the bullpen. We don't have to generate anything else. Okay, so that's your Boston team. And the two teams you're going to be seeing today, Canada, the Canadian imports, or the Canada imports, are American players who played for the Montreal Expos and the Toronto Blue Jays. We'll be getting to this game after I go through the other teams. And they have a pretty good pitching staff here. Steve Rogers probably leading the way. Roy Halladay. And not a bad crop of hitters. Fred McGriff, the crime dog. I am sure Gary Carter is on this team, right? Yes, he is. Andre Dawson, Marquise Grissom, and we mentioned Fred McGriff. Jesse Barfield, Bo Bichette, Tim Raines, Vernon Wells, Shannon Stewart. So we'll be seeing them in action in just a little bit as we go through these teams, show you who's on what team. Now we're going to take a look at, we did Mid-Atlantic, right? I don't think we did Great Lakes. Well, we did Great Lakes. I take that back. The Mid-Atlantic Mavericks are made up of Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Washington. And we will just go through this again. Jimmy Fox is on this team. And that's all the Philadelphia franchises, the A's, the Phillies, and Washington is the Senators and the Nationals. Eddie Murray, Bryce Harper, Bobby Grich, who also played for California. But again, we go by how Dave Koch Sports has these players designated. Brooke Robinson made the 25, as did Mike Schmidt. Got to have Mike Schmidt on this team. And here's the pitching staff. It's a pretty good one. Jim Palmer, Walter Johnson, who we'll be seeing, Steve Carlton, Jim Bunning, Kurt Schilling did not make the cut. Neither did Max Scherzer, so you might be seeing them. We will go to 40-man rosters once the schedule gets to September. So that's your Mid-Atlantic Mavericks. Now, to the West Division, the Pacific Powers, I combined all the California teams along with Seattle to make a geographic team. As you suspect, they have Don Drysdale, Sandy Koufax. Nolan Ryan is on this team. I don't know if he made the cut. He did not make the cut, but you know what? We're going to include him. Let's see here. I'm going to put Nolan Ryan on the team, and Andy Messersmith will be starting inactive. And Ryan's the number 5 starter anyway. And this team will have some power. Bobby Bonds will start on the IA. But Barry Bonds is going to lead a very talented bunch. Mark McGwire, A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez, Willie Mays, Gary Shetfield, Mike Trout, Mike Piazza, Jason Giambi, Dave Winfield, Tim Salmon. Ricky Henderson's going to start on the IA. See if I could move him up. Well, yeah, we got Mike Trout, Dave Winfield ahead of him, so we might be seeing him when we get to the 40-man rosters. But quite a lineup. They'll play out of Dodger Stadium. Great Lakes will play out of Cleveland. I don't think I mentioned that. Now, the Southwest team, I had to make a quick amend to because I had originally called the team Four Corners. The Southwest Crushers will represent Houston, Texas, Arizona, Colorado. And they will play out of Dallas, Globe-like Field, the Texas Rangers' home. Todd Helton, Luis Gonzalez, Paul Goldschmidt's on this team, Mark Teixeira, Bob Watson, Josh Hamilton, who had a few good years at the turn of the century, Buddy Bell, Ian Kinsler, Jim Sundberg, Brad Osmus. The pitching staff is not too shabby, as we will show you. Randy Johnson, Zach Greinke, J.R. Richard, Mike Scott, Larry Durker. This will be a fun team to watch, and I think they might surprise. So that's your Southwest Crushers, because I was going to call them the Four Corners Crushers. Now we're going to take a look at the Midwest. We have 4 more teams to look at. And we're going to look at the Midwest Gashousers. And their good lineup, Bob Gibson. You got Dan Quisenberry coming out of the bullpen. Dizzy Dean, Lou Burdette, Kevin Appier, Frank Viola. And this is the representation of the St. Louis franchises, because they at one point had the Cardinals and the Browns, who became the Baltimore Orioles, the Kansas City Royals, the Milwaukee franchises, first the Braves and then the Milwaukee Brewers, and the Minnesota Twins. So it's a very deep pitching staff. And the hitters are not too shabby. Rogers Hornsby, Stan Musial, Hank Aaron, Eddie Matthews, Joe Mauer, Robin Yount, Ken Boyer. They're going to start active. Paul Molitor, Torrey Hunter, Kirby Puckett, Alex Gordon, who's got some great speed, and Ozzie Smith, the Wizard. We couldn't leave the Wizard off the starting 25. So the Gashousers. Then we have Chicagoland, the Chicagoland Classics. They will be the team, of course, representing the Chicago Cubs and the Chicago White Sox. We'll bring them up. And not a bad hitting staff. You got Hack Wilson, Frank Thomas, Gabby Hartman, Billy Williams, Kai Kyler, Ernie Banks, Mr. Cub, Anthony Rizzo, Luke Appling. You got Cap Anson coming off the bench, Ron Santo, Bill Dolan, Billy Herman, Nellie Fox. Ryan Sandberg didn't even make the active cut. And the pitching staff will not be too bad. Ed Walsh, Three Finger Brown, Larry Cochran, Bruce Sutter, and Hoyt Wilhelm will sure up that bullpen. Lee Smith, John Clarkson, Charlie Root, and Ed Williamson. And you got a lot of good players on the inactive that will start inactive. Chris Sale. So that's your Chicagoland Classic. Now I put two special teams in. Just to give some of the best of the rest players a home. And Chicagoland, by the way, will use Wrigley Field. The national team, the national heroes. This is going to be a special team because I imported from the Negro League sets I have, one from 1934, 1946. I just picked the best season they had. Satchel Paige is going to play some. You got Josh Gibson and Cool Papa Bell on this team. And they won't have a great deal of at-bats at plate appearances, but you will see them from time to time, I'm sure. But it's a good team otherwise. Lou Boudreau, Craig Biggio, Albert Bell, Jeff Bagwell, and the pitching side, as I mentioned, Satchel Paige, Tug McGraw, Goose Gossage, Sparky Lyle. I think this team might surprise. And finally, we have, as Ella is sitting with me, because I am not paying attention to her. There she is. The American Pioneers, which is going to be 19th century players, because a lot of franchises in the 19th century did not exist past that century. So you got pitching Old Hoss Radbourne, John Montgomery Ward, Pud Galvin, Guy Hecker, Silver King, Adonis Terry, Clark Griffith, who wouldn't go on, I think, and owned the Washington Senators for quite a while, the hitters, Fred Dunlap, Buck Ewing, and you might see these guys pitch. Billy Dummy Hoy, Huey E.A. Jennings, Bid McPhee, Jim McTammy, Dave Orr, Kip Selbach, and we mentioned John Ward and Harry Stovey. So as I said, this will be a good season of play, and we are going to play the first game. Now, traditionally, before Major League Baseball went crazy with the scheduling, the first game of a season was played at either Cincinnati or Baltimore or both. So we start the season on a Monday, April 7th, 2025. It will be Canada playing Mid-Atlantic. Most of the games are going to be played at night, but all the opening games will take place during the daytime. So we will try to get you to the 12 ballparks as the schedule permits. And otherwise, we will just follow the leader around. And if there's a tie for the lead, we will alternate between the leaders. And that's how we will do this day by day. So it's Dave Steve for the imports and Walter Johnson pitching for the Mavericks. We will set the lineups. You see them there. And yeah, I am pleased with both lineups. Let's go.
Pitching for Mid-Atlantic, Walter Johnson.
A nice day to start the season at Oriole Park in Camden Yards. 67 degrees. There is light rain for this matchup to start off the American 250 Super Season, the A250 SS, as I have been calling it. And we will show you the batting lineup for the Canada imports. And you see it there, and they're going to face Walter Johnson. In our league, the pitcher hits. And the best four teams, the East and the West winner, and the next best two teams after that, like the time travel league format, except we play 164 games, not 162 games, not 154. will make the postseason. We might have to play it in February because the schedule is rather extensive. Here's the defense for the Mid-Atlantic Mavericks. Not too many holes in it. So it's Tim Raines leading off. No stats yet, so he should hit 306, 10 homers, 57 RBIs, and steal a lot of bases. 68. And did I set the Canadian team to be run by computer? We will just do it like we do with the Time Travel League. So Raines leading off, and Walter Johnson will deal. That's a K to start off this super season. And that brings up Bo Bichette of the Toronto Blue Jays. Should hit 295. 17 homers, 72 RBIs, 12 stolen bases. That's a grounder to Cal Ripken Jr. He throws to Murray and gets the second out, bringing up Andre Dawson. He hitting 294, 26 homers and 94 RBIs. He can steal 25 bases. This is hit well to left. Delahanty makes the play.
Pitching for Canada, Dave Stibe.
So sliding Billy Hamilton, not to be confused with the another Billy Hamilton who played in the late 20th, early 21st century, is going to lead off for the Mid-Atlantic Mavericks. He is a threat to bunt and could hit 378. And as you've seen in our Time Travel League, those are probably outlier predictions. The infield playing back, so we will try to bunt for a base hit, and he's out. Let's show you the lineup, as I forgot to do that, for the Mid-Atlantic squad. You see it there. And now we will show you the defense for Canada. Ed Delahanty, 380, 11 homers, 118 RBIs is his projected numbers. His OPS above 1. Now the corners are playing in here, but it's a grounder to Bo Bichette over to Fred McGriff for out number 2, bringing up Mickey Cochran. Projected numbers 329, 12 homers, 78 RBIs, 6 bases. Great Hall of Fame catcher. Played for the Philadelphia A's before we went to Detroit. That was popped up to the shortstop. So each team failing to score in the first inning, we go to the second, no score. Fred McGriff out of Tampa, Florida, hitting 291. That's just the projections. 29 homers and 96 RBIs, 5 stolen bases, a solid OPS. 908, played for mainly the Padres, Atlanta Braves, Toronto Blue Jays, which is how he's on this team. A foul tip, and the count 0-2 now to McGriff. And another K for Walter Johnson, his second of the afternoon. Josh Donaldson of Toronto, 271, also played for Minnesota, as you can see by that hat. 32 homers, 90 RBIs, his OPS 879. He is the 5-hitter, playing third. That's a base hit, our first base hit of the league, and Donaldson will stretch it all the way to third and get a triple. Obviously, his first of the season. Jesse Barfield, the right fielder, now steps up. 263 is his projected average. 25 homers, 73 RBIs. OPS of 823, steals 7 bases. Infield will play back. They will not give up they will concede the run if there is a situation, but a walk puts Barfield at first base. Runners at the corners now for Gary Carter, the kid. His projected numbers 279, 22 homers, 89 RBIs. Of course, played with the Mets, the Dodgers also. And then came back and finished his season with the Montreal Expos. Finished his career. That is hit well to center, but Hamilton will get to that. And Donaldson will score on the play. It's 1-0. So the Canada imports get the first run in this super season. Aaron Hill played for Toronto, also played with San Francisco, as you can see. 270 is his projection. 16 homers, 65 RBIs, 7 stolen bases, OPS at 750. Barfield's at first, and that's a K for Walter Johnson, the retired of the side. The Imports pick up a run and lead 1-0 going to the bottom of the second. Bryce Harper, who played for the Phillies and the Washington Nationals before that out of Las Vegas, his projections 283, 36 homers, 88 RBIs, can steal 13 bases. Here's the pitch from Steve. Hill to McGriff on a grounder, 4-3, and that's the first out of the bottom of the second. Michael Jack Schmidt, his projection 279, 42 homers, 107 ribbies, and 12 stolen bases. Base hit to left, and Steve has been injured.
Pitching for Canada, Jeff Fassero.
During that at bat by Schmidt, so Jeff Fassero of the Montreal Expos will come in. His projected numbers 354, 14-10, and a whip of 1277. He can go 75 pitches in relief, and I failed to point out that Johnson can go 135 pitches. So Murray is the 6th hitter with a runner at first, plays first base. 312 is his projection, 30 homers, 109 RBIs, 917 OPS. And a throw over the first. Schmidt, not a great threat to steal, but they thought they could catch Schmidt off guard with a pickoff move. And Murray hits this right to Tim Raines in left for out number 2. Cal Ripken now up, the shortstop, the Iron Man who replaced Lou Gehrig as the all-time consecutive games leader. Of course, as I record this June 3rd, Lou Gehrig was honored in Major League Baseball last night, June 2nd, and I think all of the Major League teams wore the number 4 patch in his honor. His projected numbers, 300, 33 homers, 97 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, and OPS at 897. That's a K for Fassero, his first, and we will go to the third, 1-0, Imports leading. Walter Johnson, by the way, his projection should be 149 ERA, 29-14 record, 357 innings pitched, and his whip should be 913. He's doing very well in our time travel league also. Fassero now has to hit an 094 hitter, according to our projections. Should hit somewhere around that area, and his OPS should be 265. Not too great against lefties. Hits righties a little better. And he walks Fassero. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Back to the top of the order, and Tim Raines is 0 for 1 with a K. This is going to be popped up. Schmidt gets to that for the first out. And back to Bo Bichette, who is 0 for 1. Ripken, Gritch, Murray, a double play. 6-4-3 and arrivederci. After 2.5, 1-0 Canada. Bobby Gritch, the 8-hitter for this Mid-Atlantic squad, also played for, as I mentioned earlier, the California Angels. Some YouTube video of him getting in a fight with some Minnesota Twins, being called by Don Drysdale. 281, his projections. 20 homers, 67 RBIs. His stolen bases should be 9, and his OPS 864. Let's see what Gritch can do. Grounded to third, a slow one, and he is safe. Infield hit for Bobby Gritch. Now the corners play in for Walter Johnson. Batting, he is not too bad. 236, 2 homers, 14 ribbies. Those are his projected numbers. His OPS is 634. Does better against righties, but he's facing a lefty here in Fassero. We'll see if he bunts. That's a K for Fassero, his second. Back to the top of the order for Mid-Atlantic. Second time through for Billy Hamilton, who is 0 for 1. 1 out. Grounder. Setting up a 4-6-3 double play. And we go to the fourth with the score 1-0. Andre Dawson, the Hawk, back up 0 for 1. Hit well to left, and Delahanty makes the play. Fred McGriff, 0 for 1, and struck out earlier. Johnson's at 49 pitches. He walks. He goes to first. Not a great base runner, a 5. And a 39% chance to steal a base, so he will be held. Josh Donaldson had the first hit in A250SS history. 1-for-1 with a triple. Hit well to left. Delahanty making the put out for the second out. Jesse Barfield now up. He walked in the second inning. 3 walks given up by Walter Johnson. That's a base hit to left. McGriff will make it to third base on the single, bringing up Gary Carter, who sac flied and is not credited for an at bat on that. So he has the first and only to this point RBI in league history. Let's see how he does. Hit again very sharply to center field, but that's the third out. The side retired, and the imports fail to score. Bottom 4 with the score 1-0 Canada. Ed Delahanty 0-for-1. The corner's playing in. And when I see that, I want to swing away. It's a walk. Delahanty on board, and he is a stolen base threat. He's a 10 base runner. They'll keep him on here. Carter with that 8 arm. Mickey Cochran 0-for-1. Grounder, Hill, Bichette, McGriff, double play. And with 2 outs now, we go to Bryce Harper, the cleanup hitter, 0-for-1. Grounder, and an error as McGriff and Facero botch the exchange. Harper is safe at first base. That brings up Mike Schmidt. I can't see the base running percentage with the error being there. Can I refresh that? I guess I cannot. Schmidt, line drive right to Bo Bichette, side retired. After 4, 1-0 imports. We used the traditional rules. There's no runner at second for extra innings. We use the 25-man roster. When we get to September, you'll see 40-man rosters. It's just traditional, old-fashioned baseball, as was the case for many a year before the DH was introduced in the American League in 1973. Aaron Hill 0-for-1 with a K. That's K for Johnson, giving Hill 2 Ks now. And that has given Johnson 4 Ks on the day. Jeff Passero up if the imports do not decide to do a pinch hitter. They do not. And that's a K for Johnson. Back-to-back strikeouts. 5 now for Walter, bringing up Tim Raines. Third time through for Canada. He's 0-for-2 going in with a strikeout. Hit well to left. Delahanty makes the play. Side retired. Halfway home, it's 1-0. Imports over the Mid-Atlantic Mavericks. Eddie Murray is 0-for-1. Facero deals. Hit well to left, and we have our first home run in league history. Eddie Murray touches the ball, and we have a tie game. Facero is now at 46 pitches out of his allotted 75. Cal Ripken 0-for-1 with a strikeout. That's hit well to right center, and that too is gone. So back-to-back jacks for Mid-Atlantic, and they now have a 2-1 lead as they're teeing off on Jeff Facero. Bobby Grich 1-for-1. Up the middle, 3 straight hits now for the imports to start the inning, and that's going to bring in Walter Johnson. Donaldson's going to play in a bit at third base, so we'll see. I don't make a lot of decisions as the home team. I usually let the computer handle it, but sometimes I will. Stolen base attempt, and Grich is in there. First stolen base in league history. Now the count's 0-1 to Johnson. He could still bunt here. He does. McGriff charging, and Hill covering second makes the putout at first, moving Bobby Grich to third. Billy Hamilton, we are now going through the lineup the third time now for Mid-Atlantic. He is 0-for-2 on the day. That's K. Facero now has struck out 3. He's closing in on those 75 pitches, so we may see him get relieved. soon. Ed Delahanty 0 for 1 with a walk. Foul. Count will go 2-2. We use the one pitch system here on our Action PC baseball projects. That's a K for Delahanty to retire the side. After 5, 2-1 Mid-Atlantic. Bo Bichette up 0 for 2. Grounder to Ripken, his counterpart. Over to Murray for out number 1. Andre Dawson up 0 for 2 on the day. Hit well to left. Delahanty making the play. Fred McGriff 0 for 1. A walk, a strikeout. And side retired. So nothing for the imports in the 6th. They trail 2-1. Mickey Cochran back up 0 for 2. We'll have to watch Facero quickly as Cochran is awarded first base on the walk. Bryce Harper is 0 for 2. And Facero is at 73 pitches, so he might go over his limit here. Skied the right center, but Barfield will get to that. And we'll watch closely to see when Facero will be pulled. Not yet, apparently. They're going to try to get through this inning, I'm guessing, but that's dangerous. Mike Schmidt is 1 for 2. And you don't want to be facing Schmidt with a tired pitcher. Ball 4, putting Schmidt aboard. Runners at first and second. They're going to stick with him. Eddie Murray is 1 for 2. He hits it well right to Dawson for the second out. Cal Ripken, the shortstop, up 1 for 2. He had a homer earlier, an RBI, and a strikeout. This is hit well to right. Barfield making the play near the wall. And the imports survive the 6th inning. We go to the 7th with the score 2-1. Back over to Josh Donaldson as a hitter. 1 for 2 and a triple. That is ball 4. Bringing up Jesse Barfield, 1 for 1 and a walk. Hit well to left, but Delahanty will get to that. 1 out. Gary Carter. Facero would be the 9-hitter. We're on the 7-hitter now. Carter is 0 for 1 with a ribeye. Had the first RBI in league history. That's a foul ball. Count will stay 1-2. To the kid. That's a line drive base hit. A photo finishes to whether or not Hamilton would have been able to catch it, but the umpires say not the case, and that's going to bring up Aaron Hill, the 8-hitter. And Hill is now 0 for 2 on the day. First game for each team. Ripken, Gritch, Murray, double play. Will they stick with Facero? They are. Hello, everybody. If you're just joining us, this is the first game of the America 250 Super Season. Big Pauly coming to you. It's 2-1 Mid-Atlantic, a combination of Baltimore, Philadelphia, and Washington against the Canadian imports, American players who played for Montreal and Toronto. Bobby Gritch is 0 for 2. And Facero is still going to pitch. I am surprised by this, folks. Raines making the putout. And that's going to bring up Walter Johnson, who is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Facero gets him. Bringing up Billy Hamilton, 0 for 3 with a strikeout. And Facero gets through. So going to the top of the 8th, it's 2-1. Is Facero going to hit for himself? He is! My goodness, I'm going to have to intervene here. Well, I'm not going to intervene. I'm going to recheck the manager tendencies when this is over. We're just going to have to leave it the way it is. Tim Raines is 0 for 3. Grounder, Rich to Murray for the second out and bringing up Bo Bichette. Back to Johnson over to Murray. Side retired to the 8th. And the score 2-1. I guess the Canadian manager is just going to let Facero's arm fall off. Delahanty, the left fielder, is 0 for 2 with a walk. Hit well to center. Dawson making the play. Say what you want about Jeff Facero. He's keeping his team in the game. And Mickey Cochran up, the catcher, 0 for 2 with a walk. Hit to center. Dawson will get to that. It's an oddball strategy, but it's working. Bryce Harper is 0 for 3. That's hit well to right center, and that is off the wall. And Bryce Harper with the first double in league history. And that's going to bring up Michael Jack Schmidt, 1 for 2, and a walk. Right to Aaron Hill. So the strategy worked, so I guess you can't argue with it. Score is 2-1. And now we'll see if the Canada team can get that run or more to keep the game alive. Andre Dawson 0 for 3. Hit well to center, but Billy Hamilton gets to that for the first out. Fred McGriff 0 for 2. Right back to Walter Johnson over to Murray, and now the final out could be Josh Donaldson. Hit to center. Hamilton has it. Game over. And Mid-Atlantic with a 2-1 win.
The final score from Camden Yards, Mid-Atlantic 2, Canada 1. Walter Johnson is the winner. He is now 1-0 on the season. Jeff Facero picks up the loss. He is now 0-1. Cal Ripken hit home run number 1 on the season. Eddie Murray hit number 1. Time of the game, 2 hours, 50 minutes.
And there you go, folks. I'm going to play some of these games out in away from the cameras. So let me just come on and say thank you for watching this brand new project. We should be back with the Time Travel League a little later today as I record this on June 3rd. This has been Big Pauly. Godspeed. God bless. We'll do it all again soon. Bye-bye for now, everybody.